Isha,
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
kindly ask Ajay to mail your this मेल आईडी जो भी जिस ज्वाइन करना ना मैडम उषा को भेज देंगे अभी।
ठीक है सर, मैं बिल्कुल अभी बोल रही हूँ।
बोल लो उनको जरा प्लीज।
It is my humble request to all the students to kindly mute themselves so that there is no disturbance in between.
फिर आप जो भी यूज करते हो ना, फिर आप उस चीज को क्लिक करते हो, फिर आप
महावीर सिंह जी नमस्कार। ईशा हेलो।
Good afternoon, ma'am.
नमस्कार मैडम, नमस्कार।
Good afternoon, sir.
नमस्कार, नमस्कार सर, नमस्कार, नमस्कार मैडम, प्रोफेसर नेस्टा जी नमस्कार।
नमस्कार जी, नमस्कार।
Isa, good afternoon, Isa.
Good afternoon, sir.
नमस्कार सिन्हा सर।
Namaskar, namaskar, namaskar.
Good afternoon, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Namaskar, ma'am. Namaskar. मैम भी आ गई। नमस्कार।
नमस्कार सिन्हा साहब।
नमस्कार, नमस्कार।
देखा।
So we will be starting in a while. We are waiting for our dean ma'am to join in.
Recording in progress.
सॉरी साहब, अभी 1 मिनट में मैडम आगे
Okay,
मैडम।
ma'am. Sir, with your permission, should I start?
Yeah, please start.
Good afternoon, everyone. On behalf of the Law Center 2, Faculty of Law, University of Delhi, I extend a very warm welcome to everyone present today. Law Center 2 is a premier institution and is known for its qualitative teaching, research, and other co-curricular and extracurricular activities. It is one of the prestigious institutions in the country offering 3-year LLB program. We all have gathered today for welcoming the new batch of students to Law Center 2. Through this orientation program, our students will get to know about their new journey in this academically vibrant institution and will build their future from here. We are really glad to have with us our distinguished guest, Honorable Professor Dr. Nishtha Jaswal, Vice Chancellor HPNLU Shimla, Honorable Professor Dr. Manoj Kumar Sinha, Director, Indian Law Institute, Honorable Professor Dr. Usha Tandon, Head and Dean, Faculty of Law. We also have with us respected Professor Dr. Mahavir Singh Kala, Professor in Charge, Law Center 2, respected Professor Dr. Kiran Gupta, Professor, Law Center 2 and Director, Orientation Program, and other respected colleagues and dear students. Before beginning the program, let us invoke the blessing of Goddess of Knowledge and Wisdom, Goddess Saraswati. I call upon Ms. Bhagya Ajit, third year student of Law Center 2, to recite Saraswati Vandana. Bhagya?
Ma'am, am I audible?
Yes, you are.
Jayati Jaya Jaya Ma Saraswati Jayati Veena Vadini Jayati Jaya Jaya Ma Saraswati Jayati Veena Vadini Jayati Padmasana Devi Jayati Jaya Varadayani Jayati Jaya Jaya Ma Saraswati Jayati Veena Vadini Jayati Shvetambari Mata Jayati Jaya Varadayani Jayati Jaya Jaya Ma Saraswati Jayati Veena Vadini Jayati Veena Vadini Jayati Veena Vadini. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Bhagya, for such a beautiful rendition. Before inviting Professor Dr. Mahavir Singh Kala, Professor in Charge, Law Center 2, to deliver the welcome address, it is my privilege to briefly introduce him to the audience. Professor Dr. Mahavir Singh Kala is presently Professor in Charge, Law Center 2. He has a teaching experience of around 25 years. His area of expertise are constitutional law and jurisprudence. Respected sir has published extensively on diverse areas of law in various reputed international and national journals, and also has to his credit publication of books on jurisprudence and law and society. Sir has delivered lectures and has been a resource person in various international and national conferences and seminars. Respected Sir is a dynamic leader in the field of legal education and has been working hard to take Law Center to newer heights. With this, I would request respected Professor Mahavir Singh Sir, our professor in charge, to kindly deliver the welcome address.
Hello, am I audible?
Yes, sir, you are audible. So you have kept yourself on mute. Please unmute.
Thank you, Isha. And a very, very good afternoon, all of you. On behalf of Law Center 2 and my esteemed colleagues, I extend a very warm welcome to our very special guests and renowned legal luminaries. Professor Nishta Jaswal, Honorable Vice Chancellor, Himachal Pradesh National Law University, Simla. Professor Dr. Manoj Kumar Sinha ji, Director, the Indian Law Institute, Delhi. Professor Dr. Usha Tandon ji, Head and Dean, Faculty of Law, University of Delhi. And my very, very dear students of Law Center 2, welcome to the orientation program of Law Center 2, academic year 2021-23. Given the current circumstances, you are yet to attend your classes physically in your campus. Nevertheless, we have made sure that you are not devoid of the academic excellence and personalized attention that is synonymous with Law Center 2, Faculty of Law. I encourage you to think about how you will move forward every day towards earning your degree and reach the graduation stage to become a part of bar, bench, and academia. Studying law is an intellectual adventure. You will all be developing essential capacities, skills, and habits of mind that will equip you to thrive in our increasingly complex and interconnected world, both professionally and personally. Your success is central to our mission at Law Center 2. Law Center 2 has a glorious past of 50 years. The center had the privilege of being headed by the top law scholars of India, such as Professor Upendra Bakshi, a well-known jurist and former Vice Chancellor of University of Delhi, Professor Tahir Mahmood, who subsequently became chairperson, Minority Commission, Professor A.K. Cole, who was elevated as Vice Chancellor, National Law University Jodhpur and National Law University Ranchi. Professor Gurdeep Singh Bahari ji, who became Vice Chancellor, National Law University Lucknow. Professor Poonam Saxena, who is presently Vice Chancellor, National Law University Jodhpur. And Professor B.T. Cole, who formerly chairperson, Delhi Judicial Academy. The former in charges of Law Center 2 paved the way to make the center one of the premier educational institutions imparting education in law in the country. Law Center 2, a dynamic leader in the field of legal education, has produced many judges, distinguished jurists, leading advocates, ministers, and some of the best teachers in the country. It has the privilege of having alumni from all walks of life. The alumni, including senior bureaucrats, police officers, revenue officers, doctors, engineers, chartered accountants, company secretaries, politicians, etc. Some of its alumni include His Excellency Honorable Governor of Arunachal Pradesh, Brigadier Sri B.D. Misraji, Honorable Minister of State for Tourism, Sri K.J. Alphonse, Justice B.D. Ahmed, Chief Justice, Jammu and Kashmir High Court, Justice Kailash Kabir, Justice S.N. Dhingra, Justice Rajiv Sakdhar, Justice V.K. Rao, SEBI Chairman Mr. M. Damodaran, and Chairman Mr. G.T. Gehe, among many more legal luminaries. Our incredibly talented faculty will be your guides and allies in your exploration. They are your greatest source. The scholars here are leaders in their fields and are applying their expertise through scholarships, research, and real-world practice to address both the most pressing challenging of the day and enduring human questions. They will challenge you, guide you, and open doors to new possibilities. Take advantage of Law Center 2 position as one of the country's premier law institutes, considering the difference between education and training. We are here to support you every step of the way in your journey. Law Center 2 prepares you for global citizenship, quantitative reasoning, social and legal inquiry, and communication. I once again welcome you into this vibrant learning community. Today, we have amongst us two very special guests who have nurtured generation of students to become distinguished judges, extraordinary advocates, jealous corporates, and multidimensional academicians. We are honored to have with us Professor Nishta Jaswal, Honorable Vice Chancellor, Haryana, Himachal Pradesh, National Law University, Simla, gold medalist and academician with over 30 years experience in teaching and research. Dr. Jaswal specializes in constitutional law, administrative law, human rights, and environmental law. She has over 65 research papers and 6 books to her name. Her book of environment law has been cited many times by the Honorable Supreme Court of India in the landmark judgments of 2005 against noise pollution. Professor Nishta Jaswal has been designated as Meherchand Mahajan Professor of Law by Punjab University, Chandigarh, and served in various administrative capacities. Madam has served as a member of Chandigarh Commission for Protection of Child Rights, Punjab Legal Services Authority, Chandigarh Advisory Committee of Institute of Correctional Administration, Chandigarh State Level Authorization Committee of Punjab under the Transplantation of Human Organs Act 1995 and Advisory Committee, Nari Niketan, Chandigarh. Dr. Nishta Jaswal was also awarded British Academy Visiting Professorship in 1992. Very recently, in June 2020, Professor Jaswal has been awarded by International Women's Club, Switzerland chapter, in recognition of her valuable contribution in the field of university higher education for law. Madam, I warmly welcome you to the program. We also have Professor, we also have with us Professor Dr. Manoj Kumar Sinha ji, Director, the Indian Law Institute, Delhi. He is an erudite academician. Several writings on international law, refugee law, human rights have been published in reputed Indian and international law journals. Author of many books on international law. Professor Sinhaji is associated with International Association of Refugee Law Judges. He is a recipient of prestigious visiting professorship at the Raoul Wallenberg Institute of Human Rights and Humanitarian Law, Sweden. Sir, I welcome you with all my heart to this orientation program. I also take the pleasures of welcoming Professor Dr. Usha Tandon, our own head and dean, Faculty of Law, University of Delhi. She is an eminent professor of environmental law, population law, gender justice, and family law. She has been the fellow of Max Planck Institute for International and Comparative Private Law, Hamburg, Germany in 2011, and International Institute of Human Rights, Strasbourg, France, 2007. She has many books to her credit in area of climate change and gender justice. She has presented papers in various international conferences in USA, France, Korea, China, Singapore, Malaysia, and Nepal. I'm very grateful for her presence on this important occasion of Law Center 2. And again, welcome all of you again and again, and thank you very much. And now let us proceed with the program. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Thank you, sir, for introducing and welcoming our guests and for also introducing our students to the history of Law Center 2. The program will be presided over by Honorable Professor Dr. Usha Tandon, Head and Dean, Faculty of Law, and she will be addressing the gathering after the addresses of our distinguished guests. We are delighted to have with us Professor Dr. Manoj Kumar Sinha, Director, Indian Law Institute. I now request respected sir to kindly give his address.
Thank you very much, Dr. Isa. Respected Professor Dr. Nishtha Jaiswal, Vice Chancellor of Himachal National Law School, Professor Usha Tandon, Dean, Campus Law Center, Professor Mahavir Singh Ji, Professor in charge LC2, Professor Kiran Gupta, and all young students, the beginning of your new journey for 3 years. I would have started in a different note had I been asked to address in the 5 years law courses student. So you are 3, so you have, there will be so approach would have been different for the 5 years student orientation program and 3 years orientation program. So you are here with a firm determination after passing your graduation, and you chose a path after a lot of might have a lot of consideration and number of points and decided to opt for law. This it doesn't happen in the case of 5 years. Students sometimes fascinated by seeing in the television and other things, and after passing 12 years in the school and they join the law school, and later on sometimes they feel it was not a right vocation, it was not a right choice, and they start complaining about. But now you all have decided after your graduation. So it's your second graduation in a sense. Though it's undergraduate, but it's a second graduation which you are doing either in the BSc, BA, BCom, whatever degree you have, it's a second graduation which you are doing and as a professional career. So this decision is based on a very strong and fundamental principle. So you have to decide and continue to stay in this field for longer year. I'm sure that you will do that. The second important point which we have to ponder over कि और इंडक्शन प्रोग्राम का उद्देश्य क्या है. In most of the time when we start induction program, we talk about ourselves. कि when I was a student, what happened. So there आप उन बातों में आपकी दिलचस्पी नहीं है आज के बच्चों को कि आप क्या थे, आप क्या होंगे, उनमें दिलचस्पी है. आपकी इंटरेस्ट है कि what you are going to achieve. What I have done, that doesn't make a lot of sense. So anyway, आप हमें सुन लेंगे. But what is important, like what is the objective? Why you have been asked to come in this particular program? So if I see on the purpose of the induction program, it helps all of you as a student to adjust and feel comfortable in the new environment. The first thing, in the new environment which you have come. So many students you might have passed from the law school, in the Delhi University. For you, it's almost the same campus. But for many students, a new campus. So you yourself, familiarize about the environment and feel comfortable. What Professor Mahabir Singh has talked about about the facilities in the LC2 and also the teachers and everything. So the first, to make you comfortable, in a sense, is a ice breaking. Is ice breaking what we call. So with the it's your beginning journey and there. And also the second important point which you have to think, the idea is what sir had said and what other honorable speakers will speak to you, Honorable Nishtha Jaswal ma'am and Dean ma'am will speak to you and share with you, that we want certain values, inculcate certain values and in you, and also inculcate the ethos and culture of the institution. So in certain values, Delhi University is known for that. So that particular thing is also very important. So that will help to bonds with others and also to the other students and the faculty members. So this is the broad idea. So induction program, making you familiar with the environment of the law school, with the law faculty, opportunity to interact with your new students, and all these things one by one, you will start doing it. I also tried to look into how UGC has suggested something on the induction program. So they have used a word which I like. I thought, and I'm just copying that word. They said SAGE, S-A-G-E. There are 4 words they have said, SAGE. And there's a complete induction program in 2018. There's a guideline is there for the induction program, how to conduct induction program or orientation program in the university. So what SAGE stands for? वो क्या मतलब है SAGE के 4 वर्ड को उन्होंने लिखा, SAGE stands for. तो S basically जो मैं कुछ बातें कहा हूँ, तो first is the socializing. So it's S stands for socializing, meeting with new students, senior students, and also student union, lectures, and others. So you socialize. So in this particular program, in your journey in the last 3 years, you try to focus as a student, not isolate yourself. So this is an opportunity for all of you to socialize, intermingle with the students, senior students, your batchmate, and also your faculty members interact. So that is the idea about the first word in the S. Associating. So you are part of this particular university now onwards. You associate yourself with the entire campus, visits to the campus, library. So law school, when we talk about the law students, it takes me to the important, what Oliver Wendell Holmes had said long time back. What he said in one of the things, for the law students and lawyers, their temple is library. So he said, you don't need to go anywhere. Your temple is the library. You go there, you take out the book, you read the cases, you read the statute, you read the precedent and develop. You don't know. So he was strict adherence to the single approach. It's not multidimensional. Whereas the American professor, they emphasize is more on the social science interdisciplinary approach. So Wendell Holmes, he emphasized on looking in. So library is very important. Though things have changed in the 21st century, you have a great library on your phone, which you can access everything, but still it's better to go into the library, spend some, so that will develop some kind of habit in learning. The third in the, what they say, governing. So one should also be certain discipline which you have to follow. And Dean ma'am has a greater responsibility for the, so discipline is equally important. So when you are in the law school, so you must adhere to the rules and regulation of the university. if a timely examination, a lot of things are there which as a student we have to follow without going much deeper on that. So awareness of the laws or the rules and regulations of the university is equally important. And last point which says experiencing. So you will 3 years you will experience in the through subject lectures. So you will learn a lot of things that sir had said. You will develop skills, professional skills will be there. You will learn also to work under the small group activities like participation in moot court competition, participation in debate. These are the things you learn in the small group. You will also get a chance to in the creative activities, performing arts, literary activities, and ultimately you will develop as also learn universal human values, brotherhood. So these are the 4 important points if we go. So this is the very important. Now, the certain points which I have thought as a student, you don't need to worry about the 3 years because you have done your graduation. I'm sure that you all know at a serious student now because you have taken a decision after lots of consideration, and that is the reason you are here. But this is also a time when you are in an age, you develop friendship. So I say, you make friends in the law college, and these friends are going your lifelong friends. So the friends you are going to meet or interact. So it's not don't isolate yourself. So Isa studied in the Indian Law Institute, studied in other places. So we have a relation that will continue there. Like Mahavir Singh also taught me also, so we know that. So they are there. So Madam also. So this is a lifelong relationship. So you are in this stage where your career is in the final stage. So take note of your friends, and one day you will see that he was my batchmate. He became judge of the Supreme Court or High Court. We hear even many of our honorable professors from Delhi University, they say they studied together and they are the judge, they are sitting there. So that is the chance. So lifelong friendship, so that will provide. So this is opportunity is there. The second, I will not say you always read. You go and watch movie, you see the television, you go and see the cricket match, whatever profession, what you like, you do in addition to study. But develop a habit of reading and writing. Reading whatever comes to the in front of you, you read. Even I will newspaper, you can go through and you will come to know what development is taking place. Lots of things we learn by reading the newspaper, which is missing in the new generation today, which they rely more on the an Android phone. But develop a habit of reading and writing in addition to the regular reading in the classroom, attending the classes that is there. And I have said the third point, which I have devote some time in the library. I have not said case devote entire time the way we have say in the Indian Law Institute. You have to stay in the campus from morning to evening. So I'm not saying you devote all the time in the library, but devote some time, reasonable time from your study where you can search some books are there. As a law student, when you are in the law school, and which is very important also, and which helps you to understand. If I say experiential learning by learning by doing something. So participation in moot court, participation in the debate, participation in seminar and conferences. So you learn. So that is the very important. So in the party, so you may not be allowed to participate in the moot court competition, but intra moot court competition within there, and that is also responsibility of all the young teachers. Also, I feel while teaching, and ma'am, you can also consider each teacher should ask a student for 5 minutes in each paper. Make a presentation, a small, so how to we have to think about the students who sitting in the last in the class, who has some kind of issue. So how to uplift those students, that should be our focus in there. So intra-moot court competition or some kind of participation of students for each subject, like 30 papers you will read. So each paper, sometime we must devote, and then of course, inter-moot court competition is equally important where a student must be exposed. Of course, some students will go for the outside, but some will learn what moot court participation is there, and then internship is there. So participation in the moot court, participation in the internship, that will empower That will make you a accomplished person. The moment you participate, you will get some empowerment. You behave like a lawyer. You know this, you study something additional. So the moment you participate in the moot court, you don't think about the winning and losing. But you you are arguing before a fake court on a hypothetical questions. That is not like original, but you are behaving like a lawyer. You are learning some skill. So why not in the intra or something? So that has to be taken seriously by each student, I feel. And there is some marks also on that one. And the sixth point which I have, participation in, so if you study always, you also organize cultural activities. So I say as a student, in the 3 years time, you take part in the cultural activities, organizing seminars, webinars. Today webinars also is there. So you can assist, you can seek assistance from your respected teachers. They will always help you. And seventh point which I have, and then last point I'll come quickly. Try to understand law more in integrated approach. Integrated and comparative. I've seen both integrated and comparative. If I teach separation of power, if I will not say separation of power, how it works in the United States of America, how it works in the Westminster, in the model in the UK, and how it works in there. So if comparative, not necessarily you have to go entire in deep, but surface knowledge is comparative is also very important. So I can say a very rigid model of separation of power exists in the United States of the America. Westminster, where Parliament used to be, is a supreme, but after European Union a little bit. But in India, is a constitution is supreme. So a comparative, I'm not saying go in the deep learning, you go in the surface, but comparative learning is equally important for a student in today's time where you appear. And it's we are living in an era and you are going to live more years for the cosmopolitan, where you are the citizens of the world. You are not citizen of the India, and I'm sure you will be considered one day citizen of the world. So you think what Immanuel Kant has said in his writing in the Perpetual Peace in 1795, you all are going to be citizens of the world. You are going to practice any parts of the already students are doing. So you have to think. That is the reason I'm saying think law, not what Oliver Wendell Holmes has said. Think law as a comparative perspective, integrated. Now come to the integrated. What I mean integrated, when you study, because you are citizen of the world, you are the future citizen of the world. So when you approach the law, you have to look law through the international law. If if a business association, I believe we have in the Delhi faculty law, the business association paper, if I remember correctly now, whether it has been changed, but we studied. But that when we studied more on the domestic law. But today domestic law is completely international trade law compliant. They have been, so we have modified our domestic law. Trips all of a sudden have become copyrights, IPR and others. Become all of a sudden after 1995 very important subject, which was not there. Cyber law has become very important. In coming days also you will see that artificial intelligence and other technology based knowledge will be also very important as a component of this study. So one has to understand the importance of the integrated approach. Even not again, I'm not emphasizing you have to read public international law completely, but you have to look or try to understand as far as possible, which our Honorable Supreme Court and High Court in various judgments without fail, they mention international law. As a matter of fact, if you see the judgment of the Supreme Court of India, particularly from 1950 to 1990, or maybe a little bit more later, the judgments were highly, other jurisdictions were referred. Hugely other jurisdiction references were US court judgment, UK judgments, they were referred. But now if you see for last 20 years judgment, you find international law, input of international law. Judges are citing General Assembly resolution, judges are citing Universal Declaration of Human Rights, judges are citing our CEDAW, judges are saying Stockholm Declaration, everything. You'll take a judgment and you find international references without fail. you will find something will come on the international references there in the judgment. So approach of the court has changed, and that international documents have become a very significant, or it has acquired a very significant space in the judicial mechanism available in India. Last point, I don't want you to think today. You think when you will come after 2 years, but this 2 years will help you to think properly. We will not be able to think whatever. So I don't think you will take your own decision carefully. What we are doing, we are taking you, or we are moving along with you. As a teacher, we are just guiding you or supervising you. But you will be able to take a correct decision. When you deviate and when you have a challenge, you come to teacher, and definitely all teachers will assist you. But a decision which you are going to take after 2 years, you have to take it, a final call where you are going to land, what you want to pursue after the completing law. And there you have to, in the end of by the 5th semester, you have a firm idea. You don't experiment, because I see that a lot of students, they experiment. If you want to go in the teaching, you don't say, okay, I'll practice 1 year and then go. The day you decide, okay, I want to be teacher, I have a spark in me, I understand things, I'm able to establish communication with my student or friends, and many times I have realized I have a good skill as a teacher. Don't go for the 2 years NGO, 1 year in the court and 3 years, and then you say, okay, madam, I want to come the PhD. Don't waste your time. So you have realized your potential as a successful teacher. You go for the LLM and go for the PhD. You complete that and you try later on. So that clarity has to be there. So I suggest you, based on our own experience, clarity has to be there. You don't need to experiment and then try. If conditions like sometimes circumstances, situation, lot of factors are there, I don't want to go on that. But if you have everything, so you plan accordingly, a firm decision is there. So if you want to teacher, you go through the LLM PhD part. If you want to practice, stop there, go to the courtroom, start with the trial court, then high court. Don't jump to the Supreme Court or high court practice. Spend 2 years in the trial court, learn the trial procedure, then you go to the high court. Even if you are the best student of National Law School or whatever, don't see everybody has to go through the start from the ground floor. You can't start from the 5th floor or 7th floor. If you go in the 7th floor, you will never realize the संघर्ष जो 1 से 6 फ्लोर पे पहुंचने के उसके आपको कभी एहसास नहीं होगी. सो आप जो आप 7वां फ्लोर पर चढ़ना चाहते हैं, सुप्रीम कोर्ट पे आना चाहते हैं, आप पहले स्टार्ट करें ग्राउंड फ्लोर से, और ग्राउंड फ्लोर में जो सही लॉ की जो समस्याएं हैं उसको आप समझेंगे और उसके बाद आप बचे. तो हर एक स्टूडेंट को, कई बार हमारे ऑनरेबल जजेस भी कहते हैं कि वी वांट टू मेक इट कंपलसरी कि स्टूडेंट हैज टू गो फॉर 3 इयर्स ट्रायल कोर्ट. सो यू आल्सो गो ट्रायल. दिस इज माय सजेशन, बट यू टेक योर ओन डिसीजन. सो आप लॉयर बनना चाहते हैं, यू बने, पूरी तरीके से पूरी दिलचस्पी से बने आपके रास्ते को. डोंट आइडियलाइज बिग पर्सन. उनकी बातें से आप करेंगे तो बहुत फ्रस्ट्रेशन हो. आप आइडियलाइज कीजिए अपने आप को. आपका आदर्श आप है, आपके आदर्श आपके माता पिता है, आपके आदर्श आपके शिक्षक है. आपके आदर्श वो नहीं होने चाहिए जो टीवी पे बड़े दिखते हैं, पैसे दिखते हैं, उनसे कुछ ज्यादा नहीं होने वाला. आपके आदर्श है जो समाज में सबसे पिछड़ा है, जो सबसे कमजोर व्यक्ति, वो आपका आदर्श है. हमें तो लगता है कि एक सबसे सक्सेसफुल आदमी इस पूरे संघर्ष में, ये कोविड-19 के टाइम में मजदूर रहा, जिसने सारे संघर्ष, जो अमीर है, जो अच्छे है, वो घर पे बैठे यहाँ पे बोल रहे हैं, लेकिन उसके लिए हर एक दिन, हर एक वक्त चैलेंज था. और वो सबसे बड़ा आदमी है. वो आदमी नहीं बड़ा है जो घर पे बैठे और हमारी तरह से टीवी से बात कर ले रहे हैं. वो नहीं है आपके आदर्श. आदर्श वो होना चाहिए हमारे पिछड़े वर्ग के, जो सबसे कमजोर व्यक्ति, उसको मन में लेके संकल्प बनाइए और आप सोचिए कि जब वो हमसे ज्यादा काम करते तो हमें भी करनी चाहिए. प्रेरणा मिलती है वैसे लोगों से जो हम देखते हैं कि सुबह 6 बजे ये मेड सर्वेंट हमारे घर पे घंटी बजाती है, तो मैं सोचती हूँ 4 बजे उठती होगी, और फिर वो एक घर में नहीं 6 घर करती. हमारे घर में घर के लोग बोलेंगे हमसे 2 बर्तन नहीं होता, लेकिन वो करते हैं. तक उनका संघर्ष, उनकी है, वो हमारे प्रेरणा की सूरत होने चाहिए. उन्हीं को अपने आदर्श बनाओ जो पिछड़े हो. और जो ये, उसके बाद तीसरा लॉ फॉर्म्स है. उसके बाद आपको कोर्ट रूम, उसके बाद आप गवर्नमेंट जॉब में जाना चाहते, ये सारी क्लैरिटी होनी चाहिए. तो मैंने इसे आउटलाइन किया, और मुझे उम्मीद है कि आज महावीर सिंह जी ने और उषा टंडन मैम ने जो ये प्रोग्राम को ऑर्गेनाइज करवाया है, ये एक मोटिवेशनल है, और आप इस बात को समझेंगे. और हम सब की ढेर सारी शुभकामनाएं आपको कि आपका 3 साल आनंद में हो, सुख में हो, और आपकी जो सपने हैं, आपके जो ड्रीम्स हैं, दैट गेट्स फुलफिल. इन्हीं शब्दों के साथ मैं आपका, महावीर सिंह जी का ईसा का भी और उषा मैम का और निष्ठा जी का बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
very much.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir, for gracing the occasion and for encouraging our students to inculcate the value of the university and to believe in themselves. Thank you also, sir, for highlighting the importance of socializing, associating discipline and experience in the life of a law student. Thank you so much, sir. We are honored to have with us Professor Dr. Nishtha Jaswal, Honorable Vice Chancellor, HPNLU Shimla. I now request respected ma'am to kindly address the gathering.
Thank you, Dr. Isha, Professor Manoj Kumar Sinha, Professor Usha Tandon, Professor Mahavir Singh ji, faculty members, and beautiful daughters and handsome sons. You must be thinking, I haven't seen you, but I presume your hearts are beautiful. I'm really thankful to Professor Manoj Sinha ji for speaking almost everything, for telling you about what are the avenues open for you, what you need to do while you are students, all such advices regarding the legal education he has given you. And I'm free to talk like a mother who can speak from her heart and who can speak to the hearts. I'm reminded of Aristotle when he said, educating the mind without educating the heart is no education at all. And Rabindranath Tagore very beautifully said, I quote, the highest education is that which does not merely give us information, but makes our life in harmony with all existence. So you need to learn how you can be in harmony with your own existence. That's very, very important. And when I'm speaking from my heart, I always carry the treasure of Vedas from Kathopanishad. Uttishtat Jagrat Prapya Varani Bodhat Shura Sannadhara Nishita Duratya Durgam Patha Tat Kavyo Vadanti, which means arise, awake, approach the great and learn. Like the sharp edge of a razor is that path. So the wise say, hard to tread and difficult to cross. And I hope all of you know that the slogan of Swami Vivekananda was also taken from this shloka of Kathopanishad. Arise, awake, and stop not till the goal is reached. You must be thinking that elders are used to deliver sermons, that one elder delivers sermons, another elder is there to only talk, and talk. But I just want to promise that I'll try to eschew all my biases. Again, a Sanskrit shloka. Par upadesh velayam shishta sarve bhavanti vai vismaranti shishtatvam swakarya samupastite, which means while giving advice to others, one's wisdom has no bounds. However, when they face their own problems, they seem to forget all their wisdom. I'll just speak from my heart, from my experience, what I do. I'll try not to say what I don't practice. And I can say, even though Professor Manoj Sinha has already talked, but I must tell you, whatever he has talked, he practices. And now, first of all, you must be thankful to God for giving you the golden opportunity to receive education, especially this legal education. Because we know, all of us know that the whole country is generally throughout the world run by the lawyers. Our freedom fighters mainly led by the lawyers. So we make the society, we build the society, we build the nations. And it's really important to receive education because no wealth can match education. Na chaur haryam, na raj haryam. No one can steal it. No state can snatch it. Na bhratri bhajyam, na chabhar kari. It cannot be divided among the brothers like any property. And it's not burdensome to carry. Vyay krite vardhate nityam. As much you spend, it increases. Vidya dharam sarve dhanam pradhanam. This is the best wealth in the world. So, As I promised, I speak like a mother. So I must tell you, don't feel scared. If you just want to receive degree, I think you will. Almost everybody gets the degree ultimately. But what is very, very important? Important to learn, important to develop your analytical capacities, your logical capacities, as Professor Manoj Suna also talked about it. So for that purpose, you have to work very hard. And I must say that Porush and Bhagya, they go together hand in hand. Struggle and your destiny. But you have to work hard to reach your destination. Sukhartina kuto vidya na asti vidyarthina sukham. If you want to attain knowledge, education, you cannot have comforts. And if you want comforts, you cannot attain knowledge. Be sure about it. It's very, very important to love yourself, to be yourself. I will not say you become this Chandrachud, you become Krishna Iyer, you become Nani Palkiwala, you become Nehru, Gandhi, Patel, Mahatma Gandhi. I will not say at all. I'll say be yourself. Identify your own importance, your capabilities. Don't blindly follow others. Do whatever your heart says, testing your capacities. But whatever you do, you must be committed to that. Again, in Sanskrit we say, see what the sarva vegain patante arthe kilarthina, which means those who intend to get work done cast themselves on the task with all possible speed like a lion. I must tell you, I am just reminded of what Jawaharlal Nehru once said. Time is not measured by the passing of years, but by what one does, what one feels, and what one achieves. And on the same line, I can quote Sir Winston Churchill also, when he said, we make a living by what we get, but we make a life by what we give. So it's very, very important if you become good human. Then you may be toppers. I will not recommend, I will not advise that you work so hard that you top the merit list, because there will be only one topper. What is required is be a good human being. It's not necessary that you must have the top IQ. You must have EQ, emotional quotient. You must have social quotient. You must have adaptability quotient. You must have adversity quotient. Just once try to pat any paining shoulder. Just once hold any suffering hand. The kind of satisfaction you will get, that is more than if you top in the university. And I may not be right. It may not be acceptable to you, but I don't believe that you should run after the leisures of life or materialistic things, because money can buy anything. Money can even buy degrees, but money cannot buy wisdom. Money can buy luxuries, but cannot buy peace of mind. Money can buy beauty, but cannot buy grace. Now, it's your own decision how you decide. But you must understand a few things. Now, there's a saying, people who change after the change, they survive. People who change with the change, they succeed. People who cause the change, they lead. Now, this is again your decision, especially when we are in a situation, there is a COVID-19 pandemic crisis. We suffered. We are trying to tide over the crisis. We don't know when there will be post-COVID situation. We are in struggling process only. Now it is for you to decide. Do you want merely to survive? Or do you want to succeed? Or do you want to be leaders? Now there is a difference when you you stand first in the class, topping in the merit list, or becoming leaders. A third divisioner can be a wonderful leader, wonderful professional. But whatever you do, listen to your conscience. There's a voice inside of you that whispers all day long, I feel this is right for me. I know that this is wrong. No teacher, preacher, parent or friend or wise man can decide what is right for you. Just listen to the voice which whispers all day long. Many a time we take excuse, not you, even myself. What can I do? What can I do alone? But I'll say, I'm only one. Still, I'm one. I cannot do everything, but still I can do something. And because I cannot do everything, I will not refuse to do what I can do. You achieve. You are at the top, as Professor Manoj Sinha also said. You start from the lower pedestal and go to the top, ground floor to top floor, and achieve any vision. But after achieving success, please try to remain humble. False pride or false ego should not have any place in your life. Again, Sanskrit treasure. Namanti falani vriksha namanti gurino jana shushka kashtascha murkascha na namanti kadachana. Which means, just like the trees laden with fruits, learned people are always polite towards others. On the other hand, dried, good and foolish are always rigid and unwilling. Don't wait. Somebody will come and put a crown on your head that you are the leader, you are the best. And again, I'll quote from a Sanskrit shloka, Na abhisheko na sanskara singhasya kriyate vane. There's no official coronation of lion in the jungle. He's a leader, jungle ka raja sher. So you have to become like that. But whatever you do, as Professor Sinha talked about, you may go in meditation, you may be a judge, you may be a bureaucrat, you may be a judge. Whatever we do, we have almost the same skills, communication skills. Communication skills do not mean having very good vocabulary or very good writing capability. It's your tone. Many a time we say, control your tone and tenor. You are sitting as parliamentarian, we say use a parliamentary language. Again, taking support from the Sanskrit literature. Yatha chittam tatha vacho, yatha vachas tatha kriya. Chitte vachi kriyayam cha sadhu nam ek rupta. It means, as is the mind, so is the speech. As is the speech, so is the action of the good people. There is uniformity in mind, speech and action. So this is another resolution which you have to take. That there should be same chain in what you think, what you speak, and how you act. This is very important. And ultimately, again, as I said, no false pride, because we are models. We don't know tomorrow we'll be alive or not. We are going to take the next breath or not. We don't know. We are not sure about the next moment. You know, when we will leave this world, what don't we know? Our personalities, our conduct, the love in eyes, that will be remembered. Frown will not be remembered, smiles will be remembered. Always remain happy. And again, say, first thing in the morning when you wake up was what it was, love yourself, hug yourself, and think you are the best and you can do anything. Nothing is impossible in this world. And finally, I'll conclude. I can share with you, I'm a poet by heart. So what I could not say in words, I can say through my heart in my poem. आज बने हैं इस लॉ सेंटर परिवार का हिस्सा, आज बने हैं इस लॉ सेंटर परिवार का हिस्सा, कल इनकी करनी कुटुंब को ऊंचा पहुंचाएगी, कल इनकी करनी कुटुंब को ऊंचा पहुंचाएगी। विश्वास है मुझे ए ईश्वर, ए खुदा, ये नन्ही कौंपले ही जग को महकाए। I know you are grown up adults, but when I am speaking as a mother, you are kids for us. बनाएंगे इन्हें वाणी धीर और लेखनी वीर, बनाएंगे इन्हें वाणी धीर और लेखनी वीर, तुम्हारी जिरा हो या हुक्म जग भरमाएगी। न आंसुओं की कीमत भूलना, न दर्द की चुभन, न आंसुओं की कीमत भूलना, न दर्द की चुभन, तुम्हारे हाथों से टूटती दीवारें भी टिक जाएंगी। तुम इतिहास रच के भूतकाल में जाओगे, तुम इतिहास रच के भूतकाल में जाओगे, आने वाली पीढ़ी भी तुम पर इतराएगी। न ये जमीन किसी की जायदाद, न कोई मालिक आसमां का, न ये जमीन किसी की जायदाद, न कोई मालिक आसमां का, वादा करो यह पीढ़ी हर दिल में अपना घर बनाएगी। मैं प्रोफेसर महावीर सिंह जी और प्रोफेसर उषा टंडन जी की तरफ से कह रही हूँ, जो कहने जा रही हूँ, इस विद्या मंदिर को देते हैं आज नाम, इस विद्या मंदिर का देते हैं आज नाम। तुम्हें कुछ ऐसा करो जाने जग इस मंदिर को तुम्हारे नाम से, कुछ ऐसा करो जाने जग इस मंदिर को तुम्हारे नाम से। कांटों के झाड़ पर भी फूल खिलाएंगे रब, because all types of students are there. कांटों के झाड़ पर भी फूल खिलाएंगे रब, जननी जन्मभूमि जन्मदायिनी वर्ष। And again I'll say, मेहनत मांझी विश्वास की नैया किस्मत पतवार, मेहनत मांझी विश्वास की नैया किस्मत पतवार, कैसे ना पहुंचे कोई मंजिल के पार। Many a time we feel very upset and we say so much politics is there, we don't like this teacher because he or she is very biased, or this administrative staff is not behaving well, or my peer group is pressurizing me, bullying me. Then what to do? It's not that we have not faced a situation. We have passed through all these stages, and one day I decided to write a small verse, and whenever I feel and find such hurdles, I just remind myself of this, and I'll just conclude with this. ए बंदे मुझे मिटाने को तुझे खुदा बनना होगा, ए बंदे मुझे मिटाने को तुझे खुदा बनना होगा, तो खुदा ही बन गया, तो खुदा ही बन गया, तो मुझे मिटने का क्या काम, खुदा ही बन गया तो मुझे मिटने का क्या काम। थैंक यू, सर्वे भवन्तु सुखिनः।
Thank you, madam. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for gracing the occasion and sharing your thoughts in such a poetic way. Thank you so much for motivating our students to work hard to achieve their goals and highlighting the importance of realizing their own capabilities. Thank you so much, ma'am. We are indeed privileged to have with us Professor Dr. Usha Tandon, Honorable Head and Dean, Faculty of Law, University of Delhi. I now request ma'am to kindly deliver the presidential address.
Respected Professor Nishtha Jaswal, Professor Manoj Kumar,
Hello.
Professor Mahavir, Professor Kiran Gupta, Dr. Isha Vadva, my distinguished colleagues, and the dear students. Well, it's my pleasure to be associated with this program and to connect with you all. It's always with me. And I was really, impressed the way Professor Nishtha Jaswal has given such an encouraging address full of, those values which are gradually we find are disappearing from our society. And I was not aware of that she has the treasure of Sanskrit shlokas and all this kind of a thing. The way you have put your thoughts in the most interesting manner, in a pure poetic manner, well, I really enjoyed it. I was also impressed when Professor Manoj has addressed the students in such a holistic manner that I really find that what is really left for any other person like me to address you. It was enlightening for me also when he has talked about the BCI's expression of socializing, associating, governing, and experiencing. Well, governing is more important for us, and we are thankful to the Bar Council of India that they have put this D in this sage. Yeah. So, dear students, very soon you are going to be back to the campus. The university has already issued a notification that it's going to be open. We had been in the grip of this virus, well, still we are in that particular phase. So it's around a year of 2 years that you will all be back to the campus. You will meet your colleagues, your friends, have fun and enjoy the campus life. But with all these things, you have to be very cautious, careful in not forgetting that still, as I have said, we are still in that phase of the COVID period. Nobody knows when the next variant will come in. And therefore, when you will be joining here in a few days, perhaps in a week's time, please follow this COVID protocol and keep yourself safe. I had been given 10 minutes to speak, and I have already consumed a few minutes on that. In this short address, I will say that you had already embarked on a journey. It's been a month now, almost a month that our classes have started, and you are already embarked, therefore, boarded in this journey. It's a very beautiful journey for you, which will transform your personality absolutely. It will transform you from a lay person, from a lawyer, and it will make you more logical, more person with reasoning, rational, and of course, more useful person to the society. And of course, whatever Professor Nishtha has just now talked to us, if we do take care of all this kind of a thing, then we can say that a person's in whom we can say can carry the values also, the ethical values also. Now, I would like to emphasize only in one thing. I will not go and repeat what beautiful and most relevant things have already been said by Professor Manoj Sinha, but I would like to just talk with my students, new one, this budding lawyers, one thing, and that is, how can you best utilize these 3 years? Do everything, whatever Professor Manoj has said, you make your friends, have fun, go to the library, not all the time, for some time, watch TV, movies, cricket, etc., etc. But when you go in the classes and when you go in the library, then how you can interact with the law. Little bit I will say on that thing. Only one point, okay? My address is only of one point. And that is, I will advise you that you learn the law, know the law, and not about the law. Okay? Now, what does it mean? It means very simple. Say one of your papers is criminal law. If you are reading section 299, section 300, read the section from the Bare Act. Bare Act, preferably the Gazette one, not with the comments. Okay? And then thereafter, of course, after reading it, you can supplement. Always you can supplement with other readings. You can supplement with the comments, you can supplement with the books, etc. And then we have here in Law Faculty, Delhi University, the pedagogy is what we say, the case material teaching methodology, wherein you are given the full judgment of a case. Read the whole judgment at least once. The full judgment, the whole judgment. Later on, you can go on the summary, this and that kind of a thing. So when you are reading this case from a book or from a dukki, as the material it is called here, you are reading about the law. But when you are reading the original judgment, you are reading the law, it is as simple as it is, what I'm saying. Now, say in the criminal law, you will come, when you will come to particularly the law on rape laws, that 2013 criminal law amendment after Nirbhaya case, when Justice Verma committee was appointed and whatever recommendations had been given had been incorporated and the law was amended. You will learn all this. You will listen all this there in the classes. At least see once Verma committee report. You will talk many a times. I know that. Many a times you will talk about Justice Verma report, but you will get a unique kind of a confidence if you have also seen that report. Just now, very beautifully, importance of library was explained by Professor Sinha. Yes, I endorse it completely. Please go there, even though you are having access on your mobile and the online, but also avail whatever facility is there, there in the books. See that particular report, the size of the book, how many pages are there of the book. I'm not saying read one by one, but at least see it, browse it, okay? And then here, when I'm emphasizing about reading the law and not about the law, it's here that you will develop the habit of reading the law and what we say, how to read a statute, how to read a judgment. There is a particular way how a lawyer read a statute and the judgment, which any other person doesn't know. It is only the lawyer who knows how to read the 1,000 pages in few hours. There's a way of reading. So when you will develop the habit of reading the law, you will come to know how to read a statute and how to read this, as I have been saying, the judgment, etc. And it's here that you will also come to know one thing in this process of learning, that context is very important. In learning law, context is very important. Say, for example, you are also having one of the papers in family law. Say one person dies, leaving behind a widow and brother, and he has left a lot of properties. He is Hindu. So dispute in law, who will inherit the property? Brother says he is entitled to inherit the property. And how he is building his claim? He is building his claim on the contention that this lady who's claiming to be the widow was not lawfully wedded to my deceased brother. The court has to give the decision in favor of that lady or against. So what is the context? How you will relate this case in the context? Is it a case on inheritance? Or is it a case on the validity of marriage? Though the decision is in terms of inheritance, who will inherit it? But whatever the law is discussed in this whole judgment is on validity of marriage. If you have covered in your classes section 2, in the context of the conversion, some of the cases might have been taught to you there in this particular context. Now, closely related with this thing is what we say, knowing the ratio decidendi of a case. It's very important, which you will learn there in the classes. Now, those who want to go for litigation, they will come to know that's a very powerful tool in the hands of the advocates to win a case, even though the judge appears to have a different view. Because being a common law country, we are following this what we say, the doctrine of precedent, stare decisis. But how to know what is the ratio of a case? It is only when you read the law, you have the habit of reading the whole of the judgment, that you will come to know what is the decision is this, but what is the reason on the basis of which this decision has been given. Come on, it's not an easy. Why? Because there is no mechanical formula to know that what is a ratio descendancy of a case. It's always an art which has to be inferred. If I take, you are also in the first semester having one paper that of torts, a very famous case, almost 200 years old case, Donoghue versus Stevenson, wherein a lady wanted to have a beer. The boyfriend has bought a bottle of beer. She consumed it, but then she consumed half of it, and half was poured there in the glass or the tumbler, and then the decomposed body of the snake was found therein. She suffered in the health. And then it's a very famous case. You will find in your case material, we do have this almost 200, 1936, almost 200 old year case, and many other cases also. So a very famous judgment of Justice Lord Atkin, House of Lords case. And so what is the ratio decidedly of this case? Is it the neighbor's principle? Is it the neighbor's principle? Or within that narrow portion which talks about the manufacturer's liability, in the manner in which he has manufactured the product, if it goes to the consumer. So you will learn all these kind of things only when you are reading in this particular context, that particular judgment. And it's here that you will also come to know how to differentiate material facts from immaterial facts. What is the issue? What is the issue? In my first example, which I had given, that the person has died, leaving behind brother and widow, what is the issue? Is the issue of who will inherit, or the issue is whether the marriage of this woman with the deceased was valid or not? What is the issue? You will come to know the issue is whether this marriage with this particular woman with that man was valid or not. Decision is on who will inherit. So these are very interesting things which you will find in the learning. What is the issue involved? What is the decision? Decision, yeah, this woman will inherit if she was lawfully wedded, or she will not inherit if she was not lawfully wedded. The issue involved was totally surrounded on the marriage laws, not on the inheritance laws. So that's how, I mean, you will develop these kind of the things. And then when you will start reading the original judgments, at least once, okay? I'm not saying you read it all the time. Then you will come to know many other interesting things. You will come to know, oh, in this particular case, the judge has given such a the case, what we can say, decision, which overrules many other previous decisions, very important decision, but it's so short judgment that the reasons are not very convincingly explained therein. To give you an example, Sarla Mudgal case is a classic example of this kind. Whether a Hindu husband who has married again by conversion to Muslim faith can be convicted of bigamy or not. The court says yes. Previously, the law was not this. Very short judgment, 5-6 pages. Various questions which arises in the minds of the learner are not answered satisfactorily. On the other hand, you will find that sometimes the judgments are unnecessarily too lengthy. This is the era in which we are living. You read some of the recent cases which are coming from the Supreme Court. Very, very, I mean, good judgments. But the way they are written, 300 pages, 400 pages. Just to give you an example, Joseph Shine case. Now again, adultery, which has now been declared unconstitutional. 5-judge bench case, 4 judgments. 4 judgments. As if there's a race between the judgments, between the judges who will write the lengthy judgment. One is writing 200 pages, another has 300 pages. Is there really a need for that? If you read the judgment, you will find so much repetition. If they want to illustrate one thing, they could have given one example, two examples, three examples. They are given 10 examples. They are giving 10 examples. It's very necessary. As Professor Manoj has said, we should have a comparative analysis, integrated analysis. But to what extent? Is it not enough to give 1, 2, or at the most 3? And then again, you will find that sometimes whether the judgment is too short or the judgment is very lengthy, there are some portions of the judgment which are not required at all. And then you will question here. I'm bringing you that logical mind which you will develop in these 3 years, that rational mind which you will develop in these 3 years. And then you will question while reading the law that why this particular portion is written in this judgment. This is nowhere related to the fact. This is nowhere related with the issue. This is nowhere related with the judgment. Then why it is mentioned herein? Then you will start asking why this, and all these kind of things your teachers will tell you in the class. I can give you so many examples, but I have only 10 minutes. I don't know how much minutes are left with me for that. So it's here, as we say, that you will come to know what the law, maybe in the form of statutory law. Statutory law have been challenged. New laws we have. And those new laws are on international based. Whatever new areas of law we have now, whether you take an environmental law, whether you take it gender justice, whether you take it law of this third gender, which it is a separate branch of law, or you take any other new branch of law. The origin of these new branches of law, somewhere or the other, is there in the international law, right? So when the old laws have been challenged or old laws are amended, why? How the new laws are there, which absolutely are against those accepted principles which has governed the society for centuries, for thousands of years. Mitakshara law has excluded the daughters from taking right in the property for 1,100 years, 1,100 years. That has survived. Such unjust law has survived for thousands of years. It's only in 2005 that law has been challenged. And now we are having new law. So, you will develop the capacity that why this law? It has to be challenged on this particular premise and how, etc., etc. And when you will do all these, when you will try to know the law, not about the law, then you will develop what I say to my students, the joy of learning. And this joy of learning, you can have only in these 3 years. You cannot gain it. Learning is ever-ending process. We are learning so many things now. But the kind of learning, there's a way of learning the things also. When your teacher is telling you, you are challenging your own teacher, you are discussing it with your colleagues, you are going to the library, you are sitting there in the cafe, in the lawn and talking about those things. And that kind of, I call that, and you will feel it. It's not something to say and listen. You will experience it only when you immerse yourself in this particular manner. So whatever the kind of things have been talked about by learned speakers, everything, enjoy your campus life, be safe therein, and don't miss the opportunity to have the joy of learning also. I really wish that your fundamentals of law are clear in these 3 years. A strong foundation for the understanding of law is laid down in these 3 years here at the Faculty of Law, and you enjoy the whole life of Delhi University Faculty of Law and here Law Center too. So with these words, I wish you very, very, fruitful years ahead and good luck.
Thank you, madam. Thank you. Thanks a lot.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for adorning the occasion and for sharing your thoughts with us, and for advising the students to learn the law and not about the law. and for highlighting the importance of reading the judgments and primary sources of law. Thank you so much, ma'am. Now, I invite respected Professor Dr. Kiran Gupta, Professor, Law Center 2, and Director, Orientation Program, to propose a formal vote of thanks.
A very good evening to all the distinguished guests, my dear colleagues, and very, very dear students for whom this program has been organized today. This was organized for the purpose of welcoming our new students and tell them the value of law and their life in this legal institution. It is my privilege to propose the vote of thanks for the distinguished guests we have today. Professor Nishtha, you have given such an adorning speech. You have given such an impressive and encouraging speech to our students by using not only the Sanskrit shlokas, but also by reciting a poem, and I believe you have written it for our student, for our institutions. We are highly thankful to you. You have told them how they can learn the law and what they should do after learning the law. We are highly, highly thankful to you for your words of wisdom and the manner in which you have expressed your words for our students and for us also. Ma'am, thank you very much on behalf of Law Center 2, and I am thanking you from the core of my heart for what you have shared with us in your speech today. Professor Sinha, as all of us know, all the faculty members know, and you also have mentioned it in your speech, you are the alumni of Law Center 2. So we treat you as our family member. You are one of us. We are highly obliged, highly thankful to you for the advice, the wise words of advice you have given to our students, that how they can lead their life joyfully in the law institution along with learning the law. They should not be overburdened by just learning, because they will not get anything just by learning. What they need to do is to interact more with the teachers and among themselves. I know how we study case laws in our times when we were the students. We used to sit in a group in the lawn in the faculty, in front of the faculty, and there we used to discuss the cases. Kisne padha hai bhai? Most of us have not read it. Only at the most two persons have read the case. And those two persons explain whole of the case to the group. And that's how we come up with new points. So your holistic address, how you explained how to learn law, how to enjoy life in the Law Institute without breaking the discipline which you are bound to follow. It is very, very impressive, and we are really thankful to motivating our students and also for your good wishes to our students. Thank you very much, sir. Professor Usha Tandon, she is, of course, the head of our faculty, head and dean of our faculty. So she is, you can say, Karta of our family. She is taking care of all the three centers along with the family. All the three centers come in her jurisdiction, and she is the eldest, or you can say the most important member of Faculty of Law. We are highly obliged to you for gracing the occasion with your presence, and especially the teachers who are teaching the family law, they must be thankful to you because you have already told them number of things which we are we have discussed or we will discuss in the family law classes. So you
here,
have told that.
Madam Kiran, ek minute. Here I would like to mention specially, although I request Professor Usha Tandon ji in very short notice, but it's a greatness or madam that she obliged us, she accepted our request. So from the family of the LC2, we are entirely, obliged and entirely, thankful to you and feel gratitude. Thank you, madam.
She is the head of LC2 family also. LC2 is part of her family. We are not outside her family. She is our guardian also.
That's why I made a request.
Yeah. She has very well explained the joy of learning.
Yeah.
And all that. We are highly thankful to her also. The orientation committee would like to express thanks to our professor in charge, Professor Mahavir Singh ji, for permitting us to organize this program and also helping us in providing all the infrastructural facilities and technical support for this. I am highly thankful to our student who has recited Saraswati Vandana. I am also thankful to the orientation committee who in number of ways has helped and in making this program successful, and to the students who have joined this, and I can see they have joined in large numbers, and also they are watching the orientation program on YouTube channel also. Almost, I believe, more than 50% of the students have joined the program. I welcome them and also thank them to be a part of this program. Thank you very much. Our next session will be about introduction of the committees, which Law Center 2 has. And I am handing over the floor to Isha Wadhwa, Dr. Isha Wadhwa, for starting with that session.
Thank you so much, everyone, for joining us today.
Before I would like to exit, my thanks to Professor Manoj Kumar Sinha and Professor Nishtha. I don't know if she is still connected with us.
Yeah, she is.
Thank you very much for joining and giving support.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you.
Always my pleasure.
Thank you very much for joining.
And these thanks are on behalf of our head.
Yes. Thank you, Madam Nishtha. And I would like to take the lead.
Ma'am,
We
we
all
have
can
a
leave now,
question.
like Vishana?
There's no question answer round. So I'll request everyone to that we'll be going ahead with the next session.
Please also don't send your questions in the chat box also.
ठीक है मैम, चलिए अभी हम लोग बाहर निकलते हैं. So thank you very much.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you, Sinha sir. Thank you, ma'am Jaswal.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Ma'am, can we start with the next session?
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you, sir and ma'am. Good evening, everyone. In this session, we will be discussing about the functioning of the committees in Law Center 2. To promote student activities at Law Center 2, a number of committees have been constituted. The committees include Moot Court Committee, Legal Aid Society, Debates and Discussion Society, Entrepreneurial Law Clinic, Corporate Law Society, Internship and Placement Committee. The teacher members, along with students, organize several activities on regular basis throughout the year, which will be discussed in brief by the teacher member of the concerned committee. Apart from these committees, I would like to mention few more committees. We have lecture, seminars, and conference committee with Professor Kiran Gupta as the convener. The committee aims at giving practical exposure to the students by organizing lectures and seminars, which give a platform to our students to interact with judges, lawyers, professionals, and academicians from other esteemed institutes. To promote extracurricular activities in terms of cultural enrichment, community engagement, and sports activity in the center, we have two committees specifically dedicated to achieving this goal, with Professor Pinky Sharma ma'am as the teacher convener. There are two journals also which are published annually and a newsletter which is published biannually by Law Center 2. Professor Dr. Mahavir Singh sir is the editor-in-chief of both the journal and newsletter. Professor Kiran Gupta ma'am is the editor of National Capital Law Journal, and Professor Vageshwari Deswal ma'am is the editor of the online journal, Delhi Journal of Contemporary Law. And Professor Pinky Sharma ma'am is the editor, and Ms. Tisle Soni is the co-editor of the newsletter Gati Vidya Law Center 2 times. For the welfare of the students and for maintaining the overall decorum of the institution, I request everyone to kindly keep themselves on mute. For the welfare of the students and for maintaining the overall decorum of the institution, we have the following committees. We have Anti-Ragging Committee, Grievance Committee with Professor Dr. Rajni Abdi ma'am as the convener and Dr. Ashutosh Acharya as the disciplinary mediator. We have Gender Sensitization Cell with Professor Vageshwari Deswal ma'am as the teacher convener. Equal Opportunity Cell with Dr. Kalpana Sharma ma'am as the teacher convener. Committee to look into grievances of people belonging to scheduled caste, scheduled tribe, and other backward classes with Mr. Akash Anand as the teacher convener. Then we also have committee to look into grievances of people belonging to northeastern states with Dr. Monica Chaudhary as the teacher convener. For the smooth conduct of the student union election, we have election committee with Dr. Shabnam, Associate Professor, Law Center 2 as the election officer. And for the proper functioning of student union, we have Professor Dr. Anupam Jha, sir, as the teacher in charge of the student union. The further details of these committees are available on the official website of the center. Now, with this brief introduction about the committees in general, now I invite Ms. Sumati Ahuja, Assistant Professor, Law Center 2, and teacher member to introduce Moot Court Society to our students. Ms. Sumati Ahuja.
Thank you, Dr. Isha. A very good evening to all. And I would like to call it my proud privilege that I have been given this chance to introduce to you, to all of you, one of the most important, active and dynamic committee of Law Center 2, which is the Moot Court Society, popularly known as MCS. The MCS works with the aim of providing exposure to our students in developing their research skills, drafting skills, and other advocacy skills. Before I proceed, I would like you to know about the working committee, the members of the working committee of the Moot Court Society. I would like to start with the faculty members first. Professor Dr. Kiran Gupta is the convener of the MCS. Professor Dr. Vageshwari Deswal, Dr. Belu Gupta, Dr. Parikshit Sirohi, Dr. Ashutosh Acharya, Mr. Pramod Tiwari, and myself, we are the other faculty members forming part of the working committee here. We have a very enthusiastic and dedicated student body who always is at the forefront and takes the lead in efficient working of the society. The student members are the convener. Student convener is Ms. Anjali Singh. She is a third-year student. We have two deputy student conveners, Vivek Maheshwari and Himanshu Bansal, who again are third-year students. Ms. Deepti Khan, she is the secretary of the Moot Court Society. She is a second-year student. Joint secretary, Ms. Sai Priya, again a second-year student, followed by one communications manager, who is Ms. Vasundhara Kaushik, again a third-year student. See, the moot court competitions and trainings are today they are mandatory academic practices in all the law colleges, the world over. The Bar Council of India guidelines also make it imperative for all the law institutions in the country to regularly conduct moot court programs, including various moot court workshops and other moot competitions. It is therefore a compulsory activity which all the law colleges have to undertake. Law Center 2 lays emphasis on this activity in order to equip students for their future profession and also enable them to imbibe the mooting culture from the very beginning itself. MCS has two main functions, if I may put it that way. First is that we select teams to represent LC2 in various moot court competitions that take place at the national as well as the international level. And secondly, we do organize an annual moot court flagship event known as SK Puri Memorial International Moot Court Competition. Apart from this, you all must be aware by now, if you actually regularly check the Law Center 2's website, there has already been a notice put up regarding the organization of Common Induction Moot. Common induction moot is organized every year by the MCS on the basis of which students are inducted. New students are inducted into the society. Now, the date also for which has been announced. But if you have gone through that notice, before the induction moot, we are also organizing an orientation program specifically related to the moot court society, mooting, drafting, researching, all such components of mooting. We would be organizing an orientation program and a demo moot for you all in that context on 13th of February. And on the same day, the moot proposition for all of you would be released. We would also be holding a workshop on how to make oral submissions in a moot court, which will be held on 20th of February this month, right? So we do expect a massive participation from our students, as we've always seen. And I would definitely would like to say here that this introduction would be it would be incomplete if I fail to highlight the laurels which our students have won for this institution in the last academic year. This committee has received immense support from our professor in charge, Professor Dr. Mahavir Singh sir, from the faculty convener, Professor Dr. Kiran Gupta, and we do take this immense pleasure and pride in stating that under their guidance, LC2 has done well in the last academic year, and we have won several prizes in moot court competitions. If to name a few, our team was adjudged winner of third Jagannath Memorial National Moot Court Competition. The team comprised of Deepak Malik, Jasmine Sokhi, and Nandini Garg. Our current student convener, Anjali Singh, was adjudged the second best advocate in the 12th NLU Antitrust Law Moot Court Competition, which is organized by NLU Jodhpur. Our team also won a Best Memorial Prize in IM Nanavati Memorial National Moot Court Competition, which was organized by GLS University. We were quarter finalists in the first National Virtual Moot Court Competition, which was organized by the Christ School of Law, Noida. Apart from these few, some of these achievements, apart from these are few. Apart from this, there are various other achievements, if I could point out. Our working committee members, student members, Deepti Kant and Tushar Gupta were recently elected as campus ambassadors for a very popular legal database, if you would be aware of it, very popular legal blog, Bar and Bench. They have been appointed as campus ambassadors. We towards the end, before I conclude, I would just like to say this thing that we sincerely hope, the MCS Society, MCS sincerely hopes that our first year students will continue this winning streak, and we would be continuing with winning various other prizes in various other upcoming moot court competitions. And I would definitely like to encourage you all to participate in large numbers in the Common Induction Moot Court program, and definitely, like Dean Ma'am was highlighting about the research skills and reading habits. So that would be, it is again one of the most important components of mooting. Mooting is not just about arguing. What you have to argue, how you have to argue, it's a complete chain. Step-by-step approach has to be followed. So you would get to learn this thing. You would get a good exposure. If you actually take part in moot court competitions, you take part in the common induction moot, you will definitely get a very good exposure. And with this, I would once again welcome all of you on behalf of MCS, and thank you very much, and my best wishes, my heartiest wishes to all of you. Thank you.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Now I invite Dr. Parikshit Sirohi, Assistant Professor, Law Center 2, and teacher member to introduce Legal Aid Society to the students.
Thank you very much, Dr. Isha. Am I audible?
Yes, sir, you are.
Thank you very much. So, respected Professor in charge, Mahavir Singh sir, Professor Kiran Gupta madam, Professor Pinky Sharma madam, Professor Vageshwari Deswal, teacher members of the Orientation Committee, my faculty colleagues, Students of first year LLB program, ladies and gentlemen, it is my proud privilege to introduce you to the Legal Aid Committee of Law Center 2. As the professor in charge has already pointed out, life at LC2 is extremely vibrant and colorful. It is these committees which make the atmosphere so vibrant. With all due respect to my colleagues who are working in and heading other committees, I would like to stick my neck out and state that it is probably this committee which is the jewel in the crown amongst all other committees that we have. Why am I saying so? Under Article 39, capital A of the Constitution, by virtue of Legal Services Authority Act of 97, legal aid is an integral part of the curriculum, integral part of the structure of all law colleges across the country. This committee aims to provide access to justice to marginalized sections of society by spreading legal awareness amongst the poorest of the poor, the most disadvantaged persons. It fulfills its mandate by assisting the DSL-SA, which is the Delhi State Legal Services Authority, in carrying out a number of its projects, which require a large number of paralegal volunteers to do the real ground level legwork, such as door-to-door campaigns, outreach programs, etc. In the year 2020, it is a matter of great honor that our legal aid clinic was organized in collaboration with DSLSA in order to render legal assistance to the needy. Apart from this, the committee under the leadership of our dynamic teacher convener, Professor Anupam Jha, organized a number of legal awareness camps in various education institutions and amongst communities in slum areas and villages in and around Delhi. The COVID-19 pandemic has seen the world adapt, and LAC has been no different. Our social media team was born during this period, and efforts have been made to increase the digital footprint of LAC in the background of the entire world having moved online. We have introduced our blog, which is titled Voices on Law, and the current team of students who are heading this LAC have introduced different units such as research, editorial, social media, on-field activities, etc., in order to make the working of this committee more inclusive, more participative. An attempt has been made to strike a balance between reaching out to people through groundwork in order to make legal recourse more accessible. This has helped to enhance the skill set of our students who are going to pursue higher level legal education, and many of them have come back and told us so. Even during the last 2 years when the campus has been closed, the university campus has been closed, LAC has worked closely with DSLS in its various initiatives. One flagship program was Senior Citizen Aid, which has seen student volunteers assist district magistrates and deputy commissioners in the Delhi government during mediation cases governed by Maintenance and Welfare of Parents and Senior Citizens Act 2007. So the parents who are not being treated well by their children, they have recourse under this act. Student members will soon be assisting DSLSA with its citywide outreach program, which has tentatively been scheduled from February 15, 2020 onwards. Students have enthusiastically participated in numerous workshops which have been conducted on topics such as anti-trafficking, gender cognizance, and capacity building. Apart from these initiatives wherein we have partnered DSLSA, we have also, under the leadership of Professor Jha, undertaken other activities like informative and educational sessions on different areas of law like labor law, laws relating to women and children, gender sensitivity, and conducted research and writing workshops. The responsibility of managing and running day-to-day affairs of LAC falls upon the teacher convener, teacher members, and core team. Like all other committees, the professor in charge is the patron in chief. Professor Jha is the teacher convener, Dr. Santosh Kumar, Dr. Ashutosh Mishra, myself, Dr. Naresh Mahipal, Dr. Amrendra Kumar, Dr. Isha Vadwa Sharma, Ms. Bisle Soni, Ms. Irwin Namte, Mr. Iklavya Anand, Ms. Swati Solanki, and Mr. Shauri Anand Singh are the teacher members. You can also get in touch with any of these student core team members. There are 7 of them. Ms. Khyati Jain is the student convener. Ms. Divyansha Giri is the student co-convener. Ms. Tualia Rahman is currently general secretary. And Mr. Devrat Sinha, Mr. Akash Garg, Ms. Sakshi Yadav, and Mr. Abhishek Kaushik, our members. In the past, we have received immense support from respected professor in charge, and we are confident that under his continued stewardship, LAC will attain new heights in the coming years. With these words, I once again welcome you to this committee. For any other query or any other contact point, please feel free to send an email to the email address or reach us via any of the social media. I will just paste the social media handles and the email address in the chat box, and you can just take it from there. Thank you very much, and my best wish to you. Hoping to see some of you in the LAC very soon. Thank you. Over to you, madam.
Thank you so much,
Isha,
sir.
madam.
Thank you so much, sir. Now I invite Dr. Belu Gupta Arora, Assistant Professor and Teacher Member, to introduce Debates and Discussion Society to the students.
Thank you so much, Dr. Isha. First of all, I extend my warm greetings to our Professor in charge, sir, our Director of Orientation Program, Dr. Kiran Gupta. I extend my sincere warm greetings to both of you, sir, and to my learned colleagues. Now, in one line, I would like to express my Debates and Discussion Society. It is undebatable and beyond any discussion that this is one of the most exciting societies of Law Center 2. That I have stressed my point upon. Now, how do I say that? Because this committee acknowledges and establishes the democratic setup of Law Center 2, that wherein how freely you can put forward your ideas, you can give shape to your ideas, you can impress upon your thoughts, and we give you that platform to come in more and more in number and express your views with us in a very healthy discussion and in a very beautiful atmosphere, which has been made so beautiful by the presence of our learned professor in charge and our learned teachers. So it is a very happy-go-lucky committee wherein everybody is welcomed with warm hands, with folded hands, and wherein you will be participated in all the discussions which will be held by the committee. Now, this beautiful committee has been born through the mindset of our very own and kind, supportive teacher, Professor Bhageshwari Deswal. She is the teacher convener of this committee. And the other teacher members of the committee are Dr. Monica Chaudhary, Dr. Nitesh Saraswat, Dr. Santosh Upadhyay, myself, Dr. Belu Gupta, Dr. Ashish Kumar, Dr. Sumiti Ahuja, and Mr. Shori Anand. The student convener or the student coordinator of this committee is Mr. Sudhanshu, if I'm not wrong, Mr. Sudhanshu Srivastava. The very interesting thing about this committee had been that we had been performing quite well even during the pandemic. We went off on online programs. There were so many online programs which were conducted by this society. To name a few, on September 16th to 2021, we came up with orientation cum induction program of the committee. Then we had discussion on the prohibition of child marriage amendment bill 2021 on 23rd January, which is quite recently, 23rd January 2022. Then we had a very latest discussion by our learned convener, discussion on marital rape, decoding consent with marriage, which held just recently on 3rd of February. Now, these discussions are no doubt, they are vetted, and the students, they get to know about the experiences of the experts in their own fields, and the professor and our professor in charge has always been so encouraging to give his words of wisdom. He makes it sure that he's present in all the programs, and he shares his experiences, he shares his knowledge, and keeps blessing us through his ideas and needs. Now, the very future plan course of action of our society is to come up with a national debating competition and some NCR-based discussions. For that, I ask all my students to come forward in huge number, participate, and stress upon the point that debating and discussion society is undebatedly and beyond discussion the best and the exciting society of the center. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Now I invite Dr. Ashwini Sewal, Assistant Professor, Law Center 2 and Director, Entrepreneurial Law Clinic, to kindly address the students about this particular society. Ashwini, sir.
Thank you very much, Dr. Isha, for allowing me to say a few words. Well, at the outset, I welcome all the first-year students who have joined us here in large numbers. I also take this opportunity to send my warmest greetings to the Honorable Professor in charge, Law Center 2, Professor Mahavir Singh Kalon, who is very supportive. I also take this opportunity to greet all my learned colleagues, including my young and contemporary colleagues and senior colleagues there. Well, I would not claim that my society or my clinic is the best, indisputably, or because but we definitely aim to make it best, because it has been 2 years. We are badly affected by the COVID pandemic, and we could not able to meet physically and go physically to the campus. So bad period for all of us, including the students. But now we are striving to open the campus on 17th, and I'm very hopeful that with the presence of the dynamic students and vibrant faces and cheerful faces in the campus, we would make this a particular society or a clinic the most important and most vibrant clinic in Law Center 2. Well, let me outrightly tell you about the purpose and the things that the clinic do, or it does. I mean, the clinic basically aims to serve dual purpose of creating about IP and IT laws and antitrust laws. It also offers legal assistance and advice to the budding entrepreneurs. Well, this clinic, has of late conducted one webinar with the Plant Varieties Protection Authority, and the a particular program and the webinar was received and well received by the audience across country, and we had a good participation from our students also in the particular program. Well, those who are enthusiastic about learning the interface of law, technology, intellectual property, information technology, the interface of all these subjects, they are most welcome to join us. We will soon gonna call for the induction, of the students into this clinic, and you will find a notice on Law Center 2 website very soon. We have a very dynamic team here with us. We have Dr. Ashutosh Mishra, we have Dr. Parikshit Sirohi, my learned colleague who just spoke about the Legal Services Society or Legal Aid Society, Dr. Ashish Kumar, Dr. Archa Vashist, Dr. Isha Wadhwa, sorry, and Swati Solanki, of course. So all of these colleagues are very dynamic and the domain experts of different fields, which I just mentioned. So all the students who are willing to, get engaged or involved into legal research into these areas, into these niche areas, they're most welcome. And, we also serve by rendering the counseling, free counseling, I mean, pro bono counseling to the budding entrepreneurs within the university and outside the university. We, in fact, used to conduct certain outreach programs, but because of the COVID, everything stopped. Now we are aiming to resume all these outreach programs into the vicinity, into the different departments of the university, apart from spreading awareness about these crucial subjects. So with this note, I would like to conclude about the introduction of this clinic. I most humbly, extend my gratitude to Professor Mahavir Singh, the professor in charge of Law Center 2, for allowing me to lead the team of, very dynamic colleagues here. And I'm looking forward to, get the cooperation from all the colleagues in this regard, in achieving our ambition of making this clinic or a society a very vibrant and the most successful society in the ensuing year. Thank you very much. Thank you to all of you.
Thank you so much, sir. Now I invite Dr. Nitesh Saraswat, Assistant Professor and Teacher Member, to introduce Corporate Law Society. Nitesh, sir.
Thank you, Dr. Isha. After hearing all my colleagues regarding moot court, regarding legal aid committee, debate, entrepreneurial society, and then upcoming also the placement committee, and this very new committee, Corporate Law Society, with the sanction of our respected Professor Mahavir sir, has been established. And on this occasion, I welcome all the students of the first year. That and just want to say that everybody will not be get selected into the judiciary or in the government post or APP or like such. Do prepare for that, but the percentage for selection is very less. So with this aim, We just want to focus that every student of LC2 shall be placed in a very, very well-renowned corporate firms. You might have heard about those firms. And the knowledge of corporate law is, you can say, students used to avoid in these 3 years, which, and company law is my favorite subject, taxation, company law, industrial law. To make your career in these fields is a very crucial, and that's why they used to avoid. So this society has been established with a focus to bring with the corporate the programs related to the corporate firms, with the seminars, webinars, the practical and theoretical knowledge about the corporate laws, related researches, etc. and etc. So very warm welcome to every one of you, and I foresee that the students will join, and the students will bring with the new ideas and with the researches related to the corporate field. And once again, I'm very thankful to Mavir sir for giving this opportunity to me for as a convener for this society. But I will one thing remained in this the part of this program. The one of our society is a National Service Scheme Society, that is NSS, and that is the most important part. While you are a student, you are working for the betterment of the country. You are servicing your country through by giving your shramdan, by giving your efforts by in the cleanliness related to the environment, related to the donations, regarding blood donation camps, regarding the cleanliness of the campus and awareness, and organizing the various programs related to the legal field. So I foresee that you people will join the NSS unit also. I will be having we will be selecting some students for our NSS program also, and we are for this corporate law society also. Once again, thanks to everyone. Over to you, Isha ma'am.
Thank you so much, sir. I stand corrected that Dr. Nitesh Saraswat sir is the teacher convener of this particular society. So sorry for that. I invite Dr. Ashutosh Acharya, assistant professor and teacher member, to introduce the placement committee to our students. Over to you, sir. Ashutosh sir.
Thank you so much, Dr. Isha. First of all, thanks to our professor in charge, Professor Dr. Mahavir Singh sir, and orientation committee convener, for giving me this opportunity to talk about the internship and placement committee. Warm greetings to all my worthy colleagues, and a very warm welcome to the students of first year. This is an important committee. At the same time, I would say it is a challenging committee. You see, the name of the committee is internship and placement. So all in all, it talks about jobs, and jobs in today's time have become a challenging task, not only for us, but world at large. People are facing the crisis of jobs. So I would say it's a challenging, the committee takes up this challenging task of providing opportunities or introducing new opportunities. I would not say that we provide internships or we provide placements. Rather, I would say that this committee, through Law Center 2 and Faculty of Law, University of Delhi, tries to act as a guide and a bridge in order to connect the seeker and the giver. The seeker is the student, and the giver are the corporate houses, the law firms, the companies, government institutions, non-governmental organizations, and other organizations, which may be national or international in nature. So in order to complete this challenging task, the role of students become very important. It is the students largely who play a very pertinent role as far as identification of their interest area and opportunities are concerned. We try our best here in Law Center 2 to guide you the right manner in which these opportunities can be exhausted. To complete this particular task, we have a team of faculty members and a huge team of students as well. To start with the team of faculty members, the team is led by a senior professor. And in this case here, our team is working under the able guidance of Professor Kiran Gupta ma'am, who is the convener of the committee. I have with me Dr. Nitesh Saraswat sir, whom you have just listened to, Dr. Ashutosh Mishra sir, Dr. Monica Chaudhary ma'am, Dr. Ashwini Siwal, Dr. Sumiti Ahuja, and Dr. Swati Solanki. Now, with the help of my colleagues and under the guidance of Professor Kiran Gupta ma'am, we try to increase the opportunities with respect to internships and placements. We are blessed, I would say, or privileged to have some of the greatest personalities in the fields of politics, academics, research, judiciary, police, bureaucracy, and whatnot. And we try to use this alumni resource to as much extent as possible. The committee is active and assist students to get internships and placements in general, as I've already told you. It also has a student convener and volunteers who work throughout the year under the guidance of Professor Kiran Gupta ma'am, who is the convener of the committee. The committee works around the year and the students participate enthusiastically as far as our past experience is concerned. And special attention is paid on the personality development of the students right from the first year of LLB course to make them acquire quality legal skills and ability to face challenges in the legal disciplines. The committee is working well and the students are getting employment with packages in corporate, NGOs, and law firms. Our alumni association also provides all possible assistance for internships and placements to our students. With this, I would stop and pass it over to Dr. Isha. Thank you so much for providing me this opportunity again.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much, sir. We have come to the conclusion of this particular program. I would like to place on record my heartfelt thanks to Professor Dr. Mahavir Singh, sir, who led this team to have this orientation program. My thanks are also due to Professor Dr. Kiran Gupta, who is the director of the orientation program. I would also like to place on record a heartfelt thanks to Professor Dr. Bhageshwari Deswal, Professor Dr. Pinky Sharma ma'am, who have also led us towards organizing this particular program successfully. My thanks are also due to the other members of the orientation program, Dr. Namita Vashisht, Dr. Ajay Sonavane, who has always led the technical support to Law Center 2 in every possible manner, and also to Mr. Shauri Anand, Ms. Kisle Soni, and Ms. Swati Solanki. Thank you so much to all the students who have joined us today.
Thank you, Dr.
Thank you so
Isha Wadhwani.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thanks, Dr. Isha.
Thank you so much.
Isha ji.
Thank you so much.
आपका भी बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद.
And thanks to Pelu, Ashwini, Nitesh, Ashutosh, Sumiti, everyone.
Thank you.
Thanks to
Thank
the
you all
whole
of you.
faculty.
Thank you so much.
Is there any
everyone for
arrangement
joining
for
us.
tea?